Well, I'm Steve Halpern for people who don't know. I think most of you do know me. I have the honor to introduce Donna and Brian, and Donna Dotan Photography, and the rest of their team is here as well. I have been working with Donna. We met about a little bit more than 5 years ago. It was actually my first listing ever. Somehow I was able to maneuver convincing somebody to list a $3.3 million apartment with me. And the clear challenge was that, first of all, I had an idea of what I was doing, but not really enough. And the apartment had been completely over-renovated, was white from floor to ceiling. It was an amazing space, but really the photography piece of it was really important. At the time, I knew Vince, who owned Dotan, and spoke to him, and he said, I know the person to introduce you to. A day later, I think Donna and I met at the apartment to do a walkthrough, and I think we shot a week later, and my career changed completely, having seen what she was able to accomplish in such a unique place, and ultimately they became a part of my business from that day forward. Now, as you walk around our office, you can see our brand identity has a lot to do with the things that they've created, and it's an honor and a privilege to really have them here and to let them showcase to you how they can help you build your business as well. Donna, Brian.
Thank you so much, Steve. It's an absolute honor to have been working with you for so long, and you are truly an inspiration, I think, to us and to the field, I think. I'm Brian Podnos, and this is Donna Dotan, and we are the owners who run Donna Dotan Photography. So just first and foremost, I want to say thank you guys for coming and listening to us speak.
Brian and I are a husband and wife team. We've been photographing spaces in New York City and around the world for the last 8 years. Our team is comprised of 4 photographers, including the 2 of us. And Joel is actually one of our photographers. He's doing video today. And we have 2 in-house retouchers. Emily, say hello. And Ben in the back. We photograph for architects, designers, developers, and of course, real estate agents.
So I want to start off by actually asking you guys a question. I want to ask you, what does this number mean to you? Anybody?
Listings on the market?
No. Good guess.
My next commission?
Sorry?
Next commission?
Nope.
Another property.
I hope.
Nope. Anybody else?
10% of my next commission?
So 27,000 is the number of brokers that there are in the city. 27,000 of people who are doing exactly what you guys are doing. So the question I have for you is, what are you guys doing to differentiate yourself from the other 26,999 people? So what we want to impart upon you today is this idea that through imagery, which is going to be your most powerful tool, you can elevate how you market your listings. You can differentiate yourself and really turn yourself into one of those top brokers in Manhattan and beyond. So why do we care about photography? It's very simple. We live in a visual world. Everything is run through Facebook, through Instagram, through Snapchat. If you aren't engaging your clients, your potential clients, right off the bat, they're gone. They're going to move on to the next listing. They're going to move on to the next click. So I used to say that your first impression is your strongest impression. I don't say that anymore. Your first impression, it's your only impression. It's your only opportunity. So you have to treat your imagery with the utmost importance, because it is your only chance to snag these people, unless someone else will get to them first.
And you might be thinking, okay, great, I should get better photography for my next listing. But it's not just about your next listing. It's about having better photography for you, for your brand, for your business. How are you going to represent your business to the world? When you go to that next listing pitch, you're going to want to show them what you can do for them. Not just tell them, I have this, I have that, this is what I'm going to do. Show them some beautiful photos that you've done from your past listings, hopefully. and really get them excited about hiring you and choosing you to come market their property.
On top of it being part of your brand, which it absolutely needs to be, it's simple measurables. There's a return on the investment for when you're putting it into your marketing mechanisms. You get more eyes because of your imagery, you're getting more clicks. It turns into more foot traffic. It turns into faster sales. It turns into higher sales. It allows you to go out and sell more quickly. I mean, it is simple numbers, but we have to think about it for every single project. That's what your goal is, to sell fastest and to sell highest.
Our vision. So Brian and I have been shooting for architects and designers since the beginning. When we shoot for them, they really want that attention to detail that we love to give. Whether we're fluffing a pillow or making a bed or running out to the flower shop and getting the perfect flowers for that bedside table or that living room table. We are putting that attention to detail into our real estate shoots, and we're bridging the gap between architectural photography and real estate photography, because that's what we love to do.
Yeah. 5 years ago, having professional photography done of your spaces was kind of a novelty thing. You know, a lot of people just came in, they snapped shots, and they moved on. Now, professional photography, quote unquote, is pretty ubiquitous in the field. They go in, you shoot from the corner of the room, you have a utilitarian aspect to it, and then you move on to the next room. People shoot with the lights on, and you're in and out in under an hour. Well, there's certainly a benefit, obviously, to being able to show the utilitarian nature of the space, to show the functional aspect of the space. But people aren't utilitarian. People are emotional beings. So you need to also think about, how are you going to tug at their strings? What are you doing to kind of differentiate your listing and tell the story of the space? So what we do is we bring the yin to this yang.
Editorial style photos. This is something so new to real estate photography. Something Brian and I have always wanted to do, and I'm so excited to do it because Compass is on board. We do photos that you would see in an Elle Decor or Architectural Digest magazine. They tell the story of this home. What's it like to live there? The beauty of it. We show the view with some design elements, the clawfoot tub, the little dinosaurs that the kids are going to play with, an angle that you would have never thought to see for a real estate photo. This is something different, a different approach that we do for you guys.
Everything is Architectural Digest. Every project is Elle Decor. That's the approach that we have. Doesn't matter what kind of listing it is. We want to talk about a sample project just to give you an idea of what we do that's a little bit different from what everyone else does.
Here's a giant living room, obviously. You know, your initial thought is, let's shoot from the corner and make it look as huge as you can. Well, Brian and I like to do panoramic style photos that really capture the full width of the room, and guess what? We got every window in there, and that was really exciting for us. In addition to capturing this wide shot, we moved in and got a little beauty moment in there. Look at that fireplace, look at the flowers, everything. You know, this is something you would see in a magazine. This is not something you're used to seeing for real estate, and people love it.
Yeah, you're starting with them, you're introducing them to the context of the space, and then you're pulling them into the story. And on a subconscious level, it works extremely well.
They start imagining themselves in this home. Show them the doors opening onto their new terrace, and capture the living room from multiple angles, not just one.
Another thing that we do differently is we shoot without any of the lights on. We allow the natural light of the space to tell the story of the colors of that space. A lot of times you're going to be seeing in real estate photos that the lights are on, it's a little unbalanced in color, and you don't get a full idea of what that space truly is. So if you turn off the lights and you let these colors tell the story, well, it's going to speak to the client a different way.
Notice the walls don't look yellow. You're not seeing any harsh bright lights that are turned on. And the reason we're able to shoot this way is because of our amazing retouching process. We do bracketed exposures from the brightest point all the way to the darkest point to get every detail, and then we blend all of them together in post, which is a very intricate process. This is what we would consider a standard wide-angle shot of a bedroom. we still think they're important to get because at the end of the day, you're selling space and you want to make the room look as big as it is, if not bigger.
Right.
But in addition to this shot, we also did a little detail. The flowers, the bedside, the amazing view.
It's a different context, right? You're introducing them to the space, and then you're pulling them into the story. So that's the way that you really need to be approaching every single room, even if you can.
Finally, we include you, the agent, in the photo as much as we can, and whenever it's appropriate. That's Joshua Osoki in his listing, and he's looking great, catching some sunlight on the terrace. Which leads to our next slide about the agents. We just think it's such a beautiful way to help you build your brand. It shows a little bit about your personality. It features architecture and design of the home, so it's still about the property, but it's also about you. And they're really great for your social media and marketing campaigns.
Right. You guys are a product, and you need to be approaching each listing as an opportunity to promote yourself along with the listing. So if you can utilize social media in a beneficial way, I mean, the best way to do that is through imagery. It's about brand. Thanks, the board. All right. So we'd like to show you a couple of before and afters with a certain project that we did, just to kind of give you an idea of how real estate photography is typically done and how we go about approaching it.
So this is actually a really nice real estate shot that was done for this amazing property, but the agent wanted something new, something fresh, and they knew they wanted something better. So we actually spent close to an hour rearranging furniture. Flowers were brought in. We took out so much furniture that was unnecessary and created a shot that draws you into the space. It shows you, look at that dining area in the back, which you barely see in the beginning. We turned off the lights and made it look naturally bright.
How do you see through the space, right? This is all cluttering the shot. It doesn't give you an idea of what this space is. So if you put the love into it before the shot, you're going to get so much return on that investment after it's done.
And this is why you don't need 50 shots. You don't need 10 shots. You need 1, 2, maybe 3 beautiful shots of this grand room.
Right.
This is how we approach the dining area. We love symmetry, so we're always trying to get that straight on symmetrical shot. This is something you would see for an architecture magazine. Lining up the flowers so they don't overlap with the window, just redesigning the bookshelves. And, you know, it's all very minimal, and we work together with you, so it's a pretty seamless process.
And we took out this scene over here. There's a couple chairs and a table that was kind of over to the side. And we just felt that removing that allowed the direction of the focus to be more about what's happening overall. So again,
it didn't make sense. It was a dining room. Why do we need a little sitting area right next to the dining table?
yeah, and this is just kind of inherently more interesting of a shot itself.
Lastly, this was our way of approaching the same room. We got to show 2 windows instead of 1. We got to show the view through the window. The lights were super distorted here, so pulling back allowed us to remove that distortion. Showing more floor space makes the room feel bigger as well. So, you know, it's a corner shot, but it's a better way to approach this room for sure.
Not to mention natural light, natural light, natural light. In all these photos, you're going to see that.
Yeah.
And it becomes less distracting as well. And allows you to focus more on what's going on inside the room as opposed to what's happening with these lights.
So we're going to talk about a few case studies where the photography really made a huge difference for this property. These are the actual before photos at 133 Mercer, which was a James Morgan listing. It was previously listed by Corcoran. The photos were taken of the raw, empty space. This is a home that hadn't been lived in for 20 years. So how do you get someone to imagine themselves living in a home that's been empty for that long? Well, some light floor polishing, a fresh coat of paint, and staging. And then we came in, we didn't need to shoot everything. We just needed to highlight the details, the beautiful elements of the space. Look at that amazing entry to the building. He created an intimate, beautiful living room space. The old architecture towards the dining room was actually really cool, so we highlighted that. The bedroom is humongous, so we had to show that. And then look at that view. You see the Empire State Building and a water tower from the bedroom. So just, a few shots that really focus on the beauty. Within 24 hours, James got a full ask offer of $3 million.
Can I just interject? That staging is done by Style House.
Style House, thank you. They deserve the credit.
Another property for James Morgan was at 325 Lex. So this had been also with Corcoran since it opened up, and there was about 12 units that the developers were not happy how Corcoran was marketing it. James Morgan got the listing. They didn't change anything except rebranding with new photography, and we also did a video for them. The styling was all the same. Within 3 months, 11 out of the 12 were in contract, and it just came from a different perspective, a new approach, a more editorial style approach in which you kind of appeal to the story of the space, not just the measurables of the apartment.
Creating a brand, the Halpern team. So as Steve mentioned, he and I have known each other for over 6 years. We shot 214 Lafayette for Steve, which is such an iconic shoot and project, and really, I think, helped his business take off and his brand, and created a brand for him. I think that's when he realized how important it is to brand yourself. There's Steve and Wendy, and they're listing on 59th Street, bringing a little life into the photos and something to celebrate. So Steve wants to say a few words about his experience working for us and what we've done for his business.
I kind of want to touch on this for a moment while we're on this slide. Early on in my career, I come from a music background, very inexpensive marketing, really trying to do things on the hustle, and I knew that every piece of impact that you had on your client base was going to be important. So once we did that first shoot and seeing the reaction that people had to that, I knew that one of the ways that I was going to differentiate myself was make a commitment to make iconic images for every one of my listings to make it stand out against the competition. I think that's what our job is. I think a lot of us may go into pitches saying that we have a larger network or that we have more exposure to a certain marketplace. The reality of it is I would say 80% of what each one of us who are semi-successful actually do in the business is very similar. And the differences and the things that make what we do special beyond the other people is the attention to detail and making sure that we align ourselves with the right team to present ourselves in the right way and present that property in the right way. Brian and Donna and I, and Ben and Will, their other photographer, we've worked on every type of space. We're talking about small studios that have incredibly cluttered living spaces. We will put in the time to move everything out, take a great photo, move it all back. I'm talking about a $300,000 studio. I'm talking about a $3,000 rental. As part of my brand, the way for me to be able to walk into an owner, a landlord, a seller, anybody, and say that I can commit to you that your property will look better than the competition involves the commitment that we take to making sure that that image is proper. That's why spending the money, even on a small apartment, it's part of your brand. When someone could look at every piece of success that you've had, I don't care if it's a $2,500 rental, a $20 million property, and look at it side by side and know that there was a passion and a commitment put into making that space look special. It works every single time. Things sell faster for higher numbers, and you can commit to what you're telling them in your pitch. The confidence is key in this business. A lot of people can go in and be confident about things, whether they do it or not. I know myself, when I walk in the door and I'm telling them that I will make this property look better with my team that we've established, I can commit to that because I know every single image is gonna be special. And then, as they were talking about the social side, I work very heavily on my social media presence, growing every day now, and having photos of myself in amazing properties. My wife and I, at the end of a photo shoot, doing a cheers on the terrace, you might say it's a little strange to put yourself in that image, but us being in that image led to, this property was on the market for a year before we got it, and I rented it in 6 days. And that's because of the impact. The other photography were all these wide shots, and they didn't give you a scope of what it was like to be in that space. We put ourselves into the moment. It made someone have an intimate moment with that space, and ultimately it works every single time. So when you're considering not just who to use as a photographer, use the people that are like you and want to create the best service for your clients, which is definitely not just an endorsement or an advertisement for them, but the people who they are in their hearts. They want to serve you. They want to create beautiful imagery. They want it for their own perspective. They want to be proud of what they do. That allows you to be proud of what you do, which will get you more listings, will get you more business. So that's what I got.
Thank you.
And if they bring Liam, their son, one of the cutest kids ever.
The best part is that this was real. It was at the end of the shoot. We wanted to have some champagne. It was a really long project, and that's kind of how it usually is. It's like we asked the broker, "What would you do here? What's your favorite part? Is it the view? Is it the terrace?" And let's go experience that, and I'll take a shot of it.
All right. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you so much for being here.
We have cards in the back. If anyone wants to check out our portfolio book, we'll leave it out.
When we do the shoot, we gotta get some receipts.
Oh, we have cards in front?
Good job.